So this is your lecture number 25, where we are dealing with the module number 3. In the last class we have seen what is called as AC voltage controllers. So AC voltage controller is a circuit which converts AC to AC signal. That means a uncontrollable DC AC to a controllable AC signal. What is the output of your AC VC or AC voltage controller? So where I'll be using this? Wherever I want a controlled AC as a input, there and all I will be using this AC voltage controller as a controller or a converter device. Okay. Then we have seen the block diagram of the AC/VC, which has the fixed AC at the input side and controlled AC at the output side. And after this we had seen a circuit diagram and a waveform of the principle of on-off control operation. There are two types. One is principle of on-off control and the principle of phase control. The circuit and the waveform we have seen in the last class. We need to derive your expressions. Is it okay? Is it okay till here? So the principle of on-off control technique, what we have learned in the last class, we'll just repeat it so that it is easy for me to explain you the derivations. Okay. So then this principle of on-off control, it is also called as a integral control or integral cycle control. It is because for n number of cycles I am keeping this switch as on, and for n number of cycles I am keeping this particular switch as off. So when I try to do that, then the frequency with which I operate the switch will be giving me that frequency of output waveform across the load. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to keep the device on for say n cycles and it will be off for some m cycles. So my total time period will be on cycle divided by the total time period, that is n divided by n plus m. Correct? So when this happens, we will be having the thyristor T1 and thyristor T2 connected in a fashion such that they are connected back to back. So T1 is here and T2 is here, and what is applied here is a secondary voltage of the transformer. So secondary voltage of the transformer is nothing but it is a sinusoidal input voltage what I am connecting at the input cycle. Okay. So here we are worried about the number of cycles for which the switch should be on and for the number of cycles the switch should be off. Okay. So it is not depending upon the positive half cycle or a negative half cycle, because in the waveform what you have seen in the last class as well as now, you will be seeing it that at every zero crossing, okay, whether it is a positive half cycle or a negative half cycle, for n number of cycles I will be keeping this particular gate current available at the zero crossing. That means whenever the device gets a positive half cycle or a negative half cycle, say at omega t equal to 0 or omega t equal to pi or omega t equal to 2 pi, I have the gate pulse for n cycles. Whereas for m cycles where the switch should be off, I am keeping the gate current off for both positive as well as negative half cycles, so the device will not be triggered. So with this concept, what we have is your device is operating as an on-off control or a switch which will be operated depending upon whether I have n is equal to 2 cycle, 3 cycle and so on. Normally in our problems we will be getting this n value equal to somewhere around 25 cycles. Okay, and m value which is off cycle, we will be having this one as somewhere around 20. Okay, or sometimes this value will be 75 and this will be 25. So total time period becomes equal to 100. Okay, so for if I consider this particular case, it is on for 25 cycles. That means 25 complete cycle of negative as well as positive half cycle, we will be getting the gate pulse, and for the next 20 cycles I will not be having any gate pulse applied to the circuitry or the thyristors. So because of which the device will be in the off state. Okay. So we have seen that if this is my input cycle, okay, and here n means it is the cycle with the gate pulse or the on cycle, m is your off cycle. When I have n and m as two different cycles, at that time For n cycle, which is a on period, I am applying the gate pulse at these two ends. Okay, during positive half cycle as well as in the negative half cycle, I have the gate pulse applied to the circuitry, because of which the thyristor will be conducting. Whereas M, which is an off period, in this period what happens is you don't find any of the gate pulses applied. So because the gate pulse is not applied to the circuitry, what happens to the device is the device will not conduct. Either T2 or T1 will not be conducting. So when the device does not conduct, the voltage developed across the load will be equal to 0. So I will be having these two cycles appearing as it is there in the input cycle, whereas one cycle it is completely off. For the next cycle again it is there in the output waveform. Is it okay till here? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So next what we have is we need to calculate what is V0 RMS voltage or RMS output voltage. So V0 RMS, the equation is square root of 1 over T 0 to 2 pi Vs square d omega t. What is Vs? It is Vm sin omega t, correct? So 1 over T is nothing but it's a time period. So time period is here, what happens is you can see that this is the complete time period. Okay, so this is on period and this is total time period n plus m. So we will be writing this value as n divided by n plus m. I think we have discussed this in the last class also, where we will be getting this as n into t divided by nt plus mt, where t is common, so tt gets cancelled and you will be left out with n divided by n plus m. So next what happens is here n divided by n plus m into 1 over 2 pi square root integration of 0 to 2 pi Vm square sin square omega t. So Vm square sin square omega t is because we have RMS voltage calculation. So we have this as Vs square. So Vs is Vm sin omega t, square of it will be Vm square sin square omega t. And we know that the sin square omega t, it can be written as sin square omega t, which is equal to 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. Now just replace the sin square omega t with this particular equation. So in the next step what happens is you will be having this particular value as n divided by n plus m into Vm square, which is constant. I'll be taking it out. So Vm square divided by 2 pi integration of 0 to 2 pi 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2 and then d omega t. Okay, consider that you will be applying the integration separately. So it is n divided by n plus m into Vm square by 2 pi 0 to 2 pi. This is divided, so it is 1 by 2 d omega t minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2 into d omega t. The same equation it is written in two terms. Okay, so n divided by n plus m into Vm square by 2 pi multiplied with this. Apply the integration. So 1 by 2 it is constant, so it is left out with 1 d omega t. So integration of 1 is nothing but omega t. So omega t with the limit 0 to 2 pi minus this 1 by 2 you can take it outside. So cos 2 omega t, integration of that will be cos 2 theta, which is sin 2 theta divided by 2. So sin 2 omega t divided by 2 with a limit 0 to 2 pi. And all this is under square root. That is why we have this 1 over 2 written. Is it okay till here? Following?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then what we have is this remains constant, n by n plus m, Vm square by 2 pi. Then I have 1 by 2. This I am applying the limits of integration. So 1 by 2 into omega t, you will substitute it as 2 pi and then 0. So 2 pi minus 0, it is equal to 2 pi. So it will be 1 by 2 into 2 pi minus here 1 by 2 into sin 2 omega t it is. Sin 2 into 2 pi, so sin 4 pi divided by 2 minus sin 0 divided by 2. What is sin 4 pi? What is sine 4 pi? What is sine 0?
Zero, ma'am.
Sine 0 is 0. Then sine 4 pi
Yes.
is
0,
sine
ma'am.
4. Okay. So sine 0 is 0. Sine 4 pi is 0. So this term completely becomes equal to 0. Okay. And it is under square root. So what happens here is we'll write down this again. So it is n divided by n plus m into Vm square by 2 pi into 2 cancels. So left out value is pi minus 1 by 2 into 0. So 1 by 2 into 0, this term also becomes equal to 0. So then what we have here the 2 pi. So pi and pi is getting cancelled. So it will be left out with Vm square by 2 into n by n plus m under square root. So I'll take this Vm square by 2 outside. So it will be equal to Vm by root 2 root of n divided by n plus m, where this n divided by n plus m can also be written as k, which is the duty cycle, where k is equal to n by n plus m, that is on period divided by the total time period t. So this is equal to duty cycle, and Vs RMS or the RMS value of your secondary voltage is equal to Vm by root 2. Okay, as discussed in the last class. So Vs RMS is nothing but the source voltage RMS value, which is equal to Vm by root 2. So the value is Vs into RMS is equal to Vm by root 2. So that I will substitute it here from this expression, and this is equal to K. So V naught of RMS, the RMS output voltage is equal to source RMS voltage into root of K. So this is your RMS output voltage of a on-off control AC/VC. Is it okay till here?
Yes, ma'am.
So for every AC voltage controller, you need to be calculating RMS output voltage, average thyristor current, RMS thyristor current, then average DC voltage, and the load power factor, and then load power. All this you need to be calculating. Okay, for every circuit waveform plus all these derivations need to be written. Okay, so let's move to the next one, next derivation. So it is average thyristor current. Okay, average thyristor current is nothing but in the waveform you have seen that here during the positive half cycle, just look at this. During positive half cycle T1 conducts, and during negative half cycle T2 conducts whenever I have this particular gate pulse applied, or during the N cycle. During M cycle, none of the thyristors conduct because of the absence of the gate pulse. So now we need to calculate what is the average current, the average thyristor current that is flowing in the circuitry. Okay, so there are two thyristors, T1 and T2. So the average value of current in a thyristor T1 is given by. So IT average we are calculating. So the value will be your thyristor T1. If you observe, thyristor T1 conducts for positive half cycle. So the positive half cycle ends at, it starts at 0, ends at pi. Correct? So it starts at 0, ends at pi. So the integration limit also becomes equal to 0 to pi. Whereas if you consider for T2, it will be from pi to 2 pi. Again the duration is 1 pi. Okay. So IT average, which is equal to n divided by n plus m into 1 over 2 pi. 1 over 2 pi because the complete cycle is 2 pi. So 0 to pi I of t d omega t. Okay. V of t we have written as, or Vs we have written as Vm sin omega t. Similarly, I of t will be written as now Im sin omega t. Okay. Then the limit for your integration is 0 to pi. This is because every thyristor T1 or T2 conducts for a duration called as 0 to pi. Then n divided by n plus m, 1 by 2 pi, 0 to pi Im sin omega t. Okay, following till here, till this step?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, fine. So in this expression, Im is a common one or a constant. So I'll take it out. So this equation becomes Im divided by 2 pi integration from 0 to pi sin omega t d omega t. This it remains as it is. Okay. Now what is integration of sin omega t? Integration of sin omega t.
Minus cos omega t.
Yeah. So integration of sin omega t is minus cos omega t and then apply the limits. So that is what is written here. N divided by n plus m, Im by 2 pi into minus cos omega t with the limits 0 to pi. Okay. Now apply the limits. So the applied limits will be here upper limit minus the lower limit. So the value is n by n plus m into Im by 2 pi minus of cos pi. Okay. Minus of cos pi minus of minus cos 0. Correct? Here one more minus should come. Minus of minus cos 0. Now, what is cos pi? It is minus 1. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Cos pi is minus 1. It is here. Cos 0 is also minus 1. Because the sign will start from here, whereas the cos signal, it will be like this. Okay. It starts at minus 1 here. So at cos pi, at cos 0, it will be starting with minus 1. So cos pi is minus 1, cos 0 is minus 1. I have one minus already here and one more minus here. So because of which it will be minus into minus, that is plus, and minus into minus, that is plus. So the value becomes what? It is equal to 2. Correct? Following till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Cos 0 is minus 1, right?
Cos 0 is 1, ma'am.
One,
That is
ma'am.
why. 1, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I need to rearrange this origin. So cos 0 is positive 1, cos pi is minus 1. Correct? So
Yes,
what
ma'am.
happens? This is minus of minus 1. Here I have a minus. Okay. Then a minus cos 0. So cos 0 is plus 1. Cos 0 is plus 1, because of which we will be having this as minus 1 and minus, and here also. So this is minus of minus 1, which is 1, and minus of minus, which is plus 1. So the value becomes 1 plus 1, that is equal to 2. Okay. And in this term I have 2 pi. So I am just cancelling out this Im by 2 pi. It's 2 and this 2. So what is left out is Im by pi into n divided by n plus m. And I know that n divided by n plus m is k. So what is duty cycle? Okay. So IT average or the average thyristor current can be written as Im divided by pi into k. Is this clear till here?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So next one is RMS current of thyristor. Okay. Now we'll be calculating what is IRMS. So it is very similar to what we have calculated for V naught RMS. Okay. The thing is, instead of V of t or Vs, we will be using here I of t. Okay. And it is the RMS current of thyristor. So the limit also changes. Okay. And in this particular part of the module, you will be having the derivations in such a way that depending upon what is your circuit and what is your waveform, the limits will change. The rest all will be same. Okay. You will be having the same RMS current for thyristor calculation, your IT average calculation, your V naught RMS calculation. Everything will vary with respect to what you have for your output voltage. Whether I have my output voltage from 0 to pi, 0 to 2 pi, or alpha to pi, or pi plus alpha to beta, or something like that. Okay, depending upon that only your values of every ACVC changes. So for this RMS current of thyristor, we know that the thyristor which conducts from 0 to pi as explained here. So the limit will be from 0 to pi. So it is n divided by n plus m into 1 over 2 pi integration from 0 to pi I of t square d omega t. So I of t we know it is equal to Im sin omega t square of it, and everything here it is a root mean square of the thyristor current. So root is here, then we calculate the mean and then the square. So we will be calculating this as Im square sin square omega t d omega t, and everything is under square root. Okay. So from this expression Im square is a constant, so I'll be taking it out. So it is Im square by 2 pi integration from 0 to pi 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2, because we know sin square omega t is equal to 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2, and then d omega t under square root. Okay. So now split up this particular terms. So it will be 1 by 2 d omega t minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2 into d omega t. Okay. Now integrate and then apply the limits. Okay. When you integrate and apply the limits, this will become what? It will be equal to here. It is Im square by 2 pi. Then we have 1 by 2. This 1 by 2 I am taking it out. Okay. Here also I have 1 by 2. Here also I have 1 by 2. So the 2 we will be taking it out. When we take it out, you will be getting it as Im square by 2 pi into 1 by 2, that is equal to Im square by 4 pi. And integration of 1 is omega t. Integration of cos 2 omega t is sin 2 omega t divided by 2. Now apply the limits 0 to pi, 0 to pi. So when I apply here, it will be pi minus 0 minus sin 2 omega t, that is sin 2 pi minus sin 0. So what is sin 2 pi? It is 0. What is sin 0? It is also 0. So this term completely becomes equal to 0. What is left out is here only pi, correct? So n divided by n plus m into Im square by 4 pi into pi. So this pi and this pi will be getting cancelled. So it will be left out with Im square by 4 into k. So this we will be writing it as Im square by 4 into k, or I'll take it out from the square root. So it will be Im divided by 2 into root of k. Following this till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then one more calculation, that is RMS load current. So RMS load current is nothing but if you remember, you have written it as V0 RMS here. Okay, V0 RMS is Vs RMS divided by into root of k. So the I0 will be equal to V0 divided by R. Okay, every time according to your Ohm's law, I into V into I is equal to R. So if I want I0, I'll be writing it as V0 by R into root of k. Okay, this is what is your RMS load current. Even if we calculate like this, we will be getting the same output. Fine. So this is load power. Load power is nothing but it is power P is equal to V into I. So we will calculate V0 into I0. When we do that, we will be left out with I0 square into R into K. Okay. So this I0 square into R into K, this can also be written as I0 is V0 divided by R into root of K. So we will be having it as V0 square by R square into this R. So this I am skipping one step here. So R and R getting cancelled, we will be left out with one R and we have a K. So this is V0 square R divided by into K. So what is power factor? Power factor is the ratio of input power to input volt amperes. Okay. So input power is P0 and input ampere is V0 into I0. When I write this, you will be having it as V0 square by R into K. In the numerator, this is V0 into V0 by R into root of K. So I have V0 and V0, which is V0 square. That is getting cancelled with this numerator term. R is getting cancelled here. And I am having the two terms. One is called K and then root of K. This K, if you split up, you will be splitting it as root of K into root of K. Correct? Then in the denominator also I have a root of K. So just cancel out one root of K. You will be left out with power factor root of K. So this I was discussing in the last class, where if I change the value of K, then the power factor is going to vary. That means if you remember, the curve was like this. This was K value and this was power factor value. Okay, K, I know it is duty cycle. Duty cycle will be having a maximum of 100%. So I'll be writing the value here as 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, so on till 1. And this side also the value varies. So what happens is, you just go on changing the value of K. Say let the value be 0.1. So you'll get some value, mark that on the graph. Then 0.2, mark that value, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. So you will be getting a exponential curve, okay, which is a variation of K with respect to power factor. So what happens is, as and when I change the duty cycle of the ACVC or the on-off control ACVC, I am trying to change the load or the load power what is connected to the resistive load or a inductive load. That means by changing the duty cycle or by changing the on period of a system, I am trying to vary the power delivered to the load. That is what is the significance of power factor and the duty cycle in the on-off control. Is it okay till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think this is the last derivation. Yeah. So for on-off control, if you get a question as explain on-off control with necessary diagrams and derivation, then you should start it from here. Explain the circuitry, explain this, draw this waveform and explain this waveform, and along with this, you need to be writing RMS output voltage, then average thyristor current, RMS current of thyristor, then RMS load current, load power, power factor, and then this particular graph. Okay, normally this will be a question for 10 to 12 marks. Okay, otherwise you will be getting a problem on this particular on-off control with the given values, say N and M, and your VS, that is secondary voltage, and the resistive load. You need to be calculating average current, average thyristor current, RMS output voltage, RMS output current, power factor, and then the total load power that is generated by that particular circuitry. Is it okay till here? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No doubts, correct? Because this is an important topic from the module. No doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Shall I continue?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the next concept is the next type of control, that is called as phase control. Okay. So one control was on-off control and the second one was phase control. Okay. This phase control can also be asked as, this has a different name. Say it is also called as a single phase half wave AC voltage controller with R load. Okay. Why we are mentioning here R load and R load every time? Because when I have a resistive load and when I have an inductive load, the output waveform or the behavior of your circuit changes. Okay. So this can also be called as a single phase half wave AC/DC with R load, or it is also called as a unidirectional AC voltage controller with R load. With all these three headings in your question or with all these 3 terms in your question, you should be writing the same answer. Okay, it should be this circuit along with this particular waveform. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just observe this particular circuit and tell me what's the difference between the previous circuit and this one. Observe the circuit and tell me what is the difference between this circuit and previous circuit. Make it fast. What's the difference? Tell now. Both the circuits look similar, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the difference?
Your diode is not used, ma'am. The diode is used.
So, in this particular circuit, I don't have the 2 device as a thyristor. Okay. Instead, I have a diode in the negative cycle. Okay. So, this is a thyristor which conducts in the positive half cycle. So, this is a diode which will be conducting in the negative half cycle. Whereas in the on-off control, it was acting as a switch and we had the 2 SCRs connected. Now, with this variation, there will be a lot of variation in the output voltage as well as the device or the total converter, how it will be behaving. Okay. So, what happens here is, this is Vs, which is the secondary of the transformer. So, we know that then what happens is, you will be having positive half cycle and a negative half cycle. So, during positive half cycle, this is plus and this is minus. So, because of this, what happens is, the positive terminal is applied to the, it is applied to the anode of the thyristor and this negative terminal is connected to the negative of the supply voltage. So, because of which the thyristor T1 is in forward blocking mode, right? So, it is not conducting, it is in forward blocking mode. As and when I apply the gate current, the device will start conducting. Okay. Then, because of this positive terminal applied to the cathode, the diode is reverse biased. Reverse bias means it is acting as a open circuit. There is no connection between this part of the circuit to this particular phase control AC/VC. Okay. So, there is no connection between the anode and the cathode. Then what happens? The thyristor, which is in forward blocking mode, is waiting for the gate pulse. Now, what happens in the output waveform is, this is your input waveform. It has the markings of your time period. So, 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi and so on. Okay. And note that in the on-off control, you are having the Ig value at omega t is equal to 0, omega t equal to pi, omega t equal to 2 pi and then 3 pi and so on. Whereas here at omega t is equal to 0, I don't have any gate pulse. Okay. So, there is a delay in the angle, or we call it as a alpha or a firing angle. The gate pulse is applied with a delay of alpha. Okay. So, this alpha is also called as a delay angle, after which we are trying to fire or we are trying to trigger your SCR. Okay. So, what happens in this particular duration is, your thyristor, which is in forward blocking mode, is waiting for the gate current to be applied. So, it is not on. Once the device is not on, the output, the load will not be getting any current, and because of which there is no development of output voltage. Correct? Following till here?
Yes, ma'am.
So until alpha or the firing angle, this is your output voltage V0. You don't have any output voltage generated. Okay, and this is your output current I0. Okay, so output voltage is not generated across the load. Then what happens? At omega t is equal to alpha, I am giving a gate pulse, because of which the device triggers. When the device is triggered, it acts as a short circuit. Okay, so the current flows from positive terminal through thyristor, through the load, and then back to the negative terminal. Okay, due to the flow of current in the resistive load, there is a development of a output voltage called as V0. So this V0 is generated, and this V0 will be giving us a output voltage which is equal to input voltage. So after it is conducting, that is this part of the waveform, we are getting it as a output voltage as well as output current. Following till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Following till what happens from 0 to pi?
Yes, ma'am.
No doubts? Okay. During negative half cycle, what happens is, I have this as minus and plus. So we know that due to natural commutation, the conducting SCR turns off on every zero crossing. Okay. So that is what is called as natural commutation. So because of this, what happens is, we are changing the positive half cycle or plus or minus to minus and plus. So by this time, the input has reached a zero crossing, that is omega t equal to pi. At this zero crossing, the conducting SCR is turned off by natural commutation. Okay. So now the device is off by the application of negative and positive power supply. So what happens here is, the device is in reverse bias mode. Whenever it is reverse biased, it is in reverse blocking mode, so the device will not conduct. It is acting as an open circuit. So with that negative and positive power supply, what happens is, the diode D1, which is getting its cathode with a negative power supply and anode with a positive power supply, it conducts. Okay, when it conducts, the flow of current will be from positive terminal, that is this positive terminal, to the load, and through load it gets transferred to the diode. So diode conducts the current, and the direction of current will be from anode to cathode, then back to the negative terminal, which is here. So you can observe that during positive half cycle, the current flow was in this direction, and during negative half cycle, it is in the other direction. So we know that the diode which is conducting, it is acting as a short circuited device. Whenever it is short circuited, then what happens is, it is acting as a wire with a voltage drop of approximately equal to 0.7 or 0.3, depending upon the material with which the diode is made up of. So what happens is, whatever is the input voltage is now negative half cycle, that appears across the output voltage or the load. So because of which your output voltage is equal to this. Okay, entire negative half cycle, whatever you have, that is appearing in the output voltage as well as output current. Okay, is it okay till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Where are others? No doubt? Spurti?
No, ma'am.
Spurti Jadhav? Okay. So then what happens is, this is a cycle which repeats. Okay. Now observe that why we say that this is a phase control device. Okay. The reason for calling this as a phase control device is, we are trying to vary the phase of the output voltage. Okay. No doubt we are converting it from a fixed AC voltage or a natural AC voltage to a variable or a controlled AC voltage. Whereas what is happening here is we are trying to control the phase of the output voltage. Okay. How the phase is controlled? The phase is controlled by the firing angle what is applied. So what I am trying to say is, whenever I apply the firing angle with an angle delay called as alpha, we are trying to vary the output voltage. Okay. So I cannot control this particular output waveform whenever the diode D1 is conducting. Okay. Whatever I want to do, I should be doing it when the thyristor T1 is T1 is conducting, because your diode D1 is an uncontrolled device, whereas the thyristor T1 is a controlled device. So what I am trying to say is, see if I apply, one second, let me rub off this. If I apply the alpha value or the firing angle at omega t equal to 0, what happens is I will be getting the complete positive half cycle as my output voltage. Okay, if I apply this gate pulse here. If I apply this alpha or if this gate pulse at this particular instant, then what happens is I will be getting only this part of my output waveform. Okay, so I mean to say that whenever I am changing the value of firing angle or the delay angle, I am trying to change the output voltage that is appearing across the load. So what happens is, if I change the value, I can change the value from 0 to pi, right? If I keep it at omega t equal to 0, I will be getting a more output voltage or more output current. If I keep it at the near to pi, then I will be getting minimum output voltage or minimum output current. So I am trying to vary the output phase of the output waveform or phase of the output voltage or output current. So because of which this is also called as the phase control AC voltage controller. Is it okay till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the reason for calling this as phase control is I am trying to vary the firing angle. So by which I am trying to vary the output voltage or output current. Okay. And we are getting the half wave control. Okay. The other half wave is not controlled because I am using an uncontrolled device, that is diode D1. So it is called as a single phase half wave AC/VC or AC voltage controller. Okay. And one more thing we have written here, unidirectional AC/VC. Unidirectional AC/VC because you are controlling the device only in one direction. Okay. During positive half cycle you are controlling it. So it is called as a unidirectional AC/VC and phase control. Okay. So these three names given to the same circuitry. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So
ma'am.
yeah. So what happens is you will be getting the control circuit is simple. That means I need to be controlling only one gate pulse. So it is becoming simple for me as well as less expensive. Okay. And the disadvantage is the output voltage is not controlled fully, since the negative half cycle is uncontrolled due to diode D1. So in parts or in converters where I want only the positive half to be controlled, and with that positive only I am doing some modification in my load side, then it is preferred, otherwise it is not preferred circuitry. And the second disadvantage is the load voltage waveform is highly distorted. For large values of alpha, it is not resembling any sine wave at all. Okay, that means if I have the alpha value reaching this, then it will be looking like this is, sorry, I will draw this here. Okay, and from here I will be getting this cycle. Okay, so observe this particular red line in this I naught. So it is not at all looking like a sine wave. So the signal or the output voltage what is received at the load is very much distorted, and it will not be looking as a sinusoidal signal or a controlled AC signal. And where it is used in the heating applications, your lighting applications, your induction motor control. Okay, wherever I want only half portion of my output cycle to be controlled, there and all I will be selecting this particular part. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So to summarize, from the today's lecture, we have learnt about the on-off control, ACVC, and the operation of phase control. The derivations what we have on this phase control, we will do it in the next class. Okay. And this is Bloom's taxonomy level. So it is falling here under the level L2, because you need to be understanding the operation of a on-off control as well as the phase control. Okay, so if we solve problems on this ACVC, then it will be the apply or the level 3. Now it is operation, so it will be understanding level. And the importance of this particular thing is the topic help us to know about the two controls of ACVC, and its derivations will help us to design the circuitry. So we have completed on-off control. So the assignment question on this particular topic is explain the on-off control AC voltage controller. And the chapter which you need to refer is the chapter number 11, that is AC voltage controller from Rashid text. Okay. Any doubts here?
No, ma'am.
Okay.